Welcome everybody to look at the second film in the Shawscope Volume 3 box set, which is just behind me, and it is 1969's Return of the One-Armed Swordsman, which is here. So yeah, this is once again directed by Chang Che, who we've already talked about as he did the previous film. And yeah, he'd also do the follow-up to this one as well. Yeah, I own 16 of his films so far, which I'm surprised by. I didn't realise how many of his I actually have in my collection, and that's only going to increase in the future because this month Eureka have the Horrible Histories or Horrible History box set that's coming out that has 4 of his films. So yeah, he's going to get even bigger in my collection as time goes by. So yeah, once again, this is a wuxia film, clocking in at 109 minutes long. Returning in terms of the cast are Jimmy Wang Yu and Lisa Chow Chow, who are also the same characters as before, and Cheng Lu, who also is in this film. Now, he was a different character in the previous film, but he does return in this one anyway. And he was also in the Chinese box set alongside Jimmy Wang Yu. So, a small group of masters of swordsmanship are trying to take over the martial arts community by using murder, hostage, and blackmail against the various martial arts schools. The one-armed swordsman reluctantly comes out of retirement to face them. So, yeah, it does take some time to get the one-armed swordsman on side to fight off these you know eight members of this clan that are trying to take over all of the martial arts schools, and you can see why, because of all the events in the previous film. His now wife is also reluctant to have him get back involved in the martial arts world because of all the events that happened to her, and she just doesn't want those to be, happen again. So you can see why it does take some time to get him involved, but he does eventually, obviously. But yeah, nonetheless, despite that kind of being a bit of an obvious plot point, this is ultimately a surprisingly excellent sequel, which for different reasons managed to match its predecessor, while without an origin story taking up a large proportion of its running time. This means the plot can focus on the expanding returning characters, like I said, all of the conflicts that the two returning characters have, as well as ramping up the action, which does in typical style, which it does in typical sequel style. It is also well paced, has an engrossing plot. The cast is once again great. The score is good. The production is improved primarily due to just how much more action and violence there is. Speaking of the violence, the body count in this, and I'm not just talking about the villains, I'm also talking about the allies, would make the likes of Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger blush, as it is massive. And yeah, you could combine all of the kills in each of the 3 respective series, and I really doubt that it would come to the level of this film, as it must be between 200 and 300 at the very least. So yeah, and yeah, overall, this is a highly entertaining and characterful effort that is more than a worthy successor to the original, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, incredible film. To be honest, I really was expecting a drop off. There are many sequels to the original films that are a massive drop off to the original, but thankfully this was just not the case for this film. So yeah, it's had a brand new 2K restoration from the original negative by Arrow Films, and they are represented in high definition Blu-ray presentations. We've also got newly restored uncompressed Mandarin and English mono audio, and we've also got newly translated English subtitles for the film, as well as optional hard of hearing subtitles for the English dubs. And then we've got brand new audio commentary on Return of the One-Armed Swordsman by critic Sam Dahan, and yeah, a theatrical trailer as well. So yeah, inevitably, because it does share a disc with another film, there aren't that many extras for the film itself, as it also has to share room on the disc for the extras for the other film, as well as the film itself. So yeah, that's why there's nowhere near as many extras as there were for the first film, but still, it's a great looking film. The 2K restoration looks excellent. There's no issues with the sound audio at all, although I did only watch it in the what was it, Cantonese audio? No, Mandarin. I watched it only in the original Mandarin audio, so yeah, I can't speak on to how well the English dub sounds. But I imagine it sounds fine. But it all depends on the source material that they have got for those dubs. So yeah, but the film itself looks great, and there's no issues at all in terms of visual quality, in terms of the restoration, which is going to be the case for either language version. So yeah, overall brilliant film. Again, 4.5 out of 5, just like the previous film. Genuinely surprised by how effective it is as a sequel, how it's able to set itself apart from that prior film with the expanding characters in terms of the two leads, and then also by ramping up the action, not just in a ridiculous and nonsensical way, but by going in a way that it just feels natural because the threat has grown, and therefore, you know, the body count is going to increase with that because of the threat and how wide that threat is. So yeah, really, really well done, and I'm looking forward to the third film. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.